Did you know that you can buy a brand new Jaguar SUV for as little as $42,000? I bet that you didn't. And of course, it's this one here, the E-Pace. But based on its minuscule sales, it's largely been ignored, with shoppers choosing the larger and much more expensive F-Pace at a ratio of nearly 4-to-1. But the E-Pace has been refreshed this year, and I have to say it's looking especially sharp as this Caldera Red 300 Sport.
Originally introduced for the 2018 model year, this is Jaguar's first compact SUV, a cousin of the front-drive-based Range Rover Evoque. And like just about every model currently in their lineup, it's scheduled for retirement in 2025, as the storied British brand evolves into an electric automaker. So for what may be its final refresh, the body receives a nip and tuck for a more assertive stance, the chassis has been updated, aiming to deliver enhanced dynamics and comfort, and the cabin gets an infusion of fresh tech and a more premium touch. Previously called the R-Dynamic, this here is the range-topping 300 Sport model, riding atop optional 21-inch gloss black wheels, framing optional red brake calipers. With the black badges leaping off of the solid red paint, this little guy grabs its share of attention for sure. So what is the 300 Sport, and why would you choose it over the lesser two trims? Well, mainly it comes down to the P300 engine, which is a 296 horsepower mild hybrid turbo 4, producing 295 pound-feet of torque. That's 50 more horses, nearly a half-second quicker to 60, and 1 mpg more fuel-efficient in city driving than the P250 engine. And then equally as important are the adaptive and configurable dynamics, with comfort and dynamic settings that adjust the ride stiffness automatically or to suit your chosen preference. There's also torque vectoring on the rear wheels, so this all-wheel drive system works from front to back as well as side to side for more responsive handling. And then goodies like a head-up display, sport seats, and soft leather touch points make this the E-Pace to have. The starting MSRP is $51,000, with this fully stocked and accessorized tester checking in at nearly $60 grand. Is that a lot when compared to its competitors? Well, it depends on who you think they are. A similarly spec'd BMW X4 xDrive 30i is almost identically priced with similar metrics, though it's rear-wheel based and considerably longer with more cargo volume. If you look at an X2 xDrive 28i, which is even larger inside, much more fuel efficient, and not that much slower than the E-Pace, it's about $15,000 less.
Because this is my first E-Pace test drive, I can't sit here and tell you exactly how much better, if at all, this one drives than last year's model, but here are my major takeaways. Now, even with the adaptive dynamics, continuously adjusting the dampers to the road conditions, this one rides really stiff. And that's even after Jaguar says they've made revisions to the front suspension this year to make the ride more comfortable. And secondly, the cabin is sporty and luxurious and features updates that now bring it more in line with the rest of the Jaguar lineup, including the new Pivi Pro infotainment system, which, as I've said before, is better than what was, but still not great. So here's where I land on the E-Pace. Now for me, if I were to buy a Jaguar, it would have to be fast, it would have to sound great, and it would have to have killer looks. And I feel like this one really only meets one of those criteria, though I can certainly understand the appeal of this model to someone who just wants something really cool. But the performance to dollar ratio of this 300 Sport model seems to be a bit off.
This one will get after it pretty good on the curvy roads, paddle shifting the 9-speed as the E-boosted engine reacts dutifully to your right foot, while the all-wheel drive system keeps it glued to the road, pivoting the E-Pace's rear end through the turns. It feels tall, though, from behind the wheel, and the sounds it makes leave me wanting, but it most certainly knows what it's doing out here, just not to the level you might expect at this price. 0 to 60 takes 6.1 seconds, which makes it a hair quicker than the slightly lighter X4, but I'm guessing there's enough sport in this drive to satisfy the E-Pace shopper, who is likely a younger, new customer to the brand, more in search of sizzle, and the 300 Sport has lots of that. The seats, with adjustable side bolsters, are as firm as the ride itself, as everything about this seems tightly strung, exuding a go-getter demeanor from Jump Street. But the materials used and attention to detail are anything but entry level. This is gorgeous and very high-end, clearly class-leading. And the baby Jaguar Easter eggs in the windshield and logo projection are absolutely perfect. The colorized head-up display is excellent. The 3D camera is very cool. There's a video screen rear-view mirror, a top-of-the-line 400-watt Meridian sound system, wireless device charging for the cordless phone projection, and an interactive driver display that can go full Navi screen. The fixed rear seats are adult snug, but actually hold you in place, and provide tri-level heating and 3 USB-C ports. No pano roof here though, so it does feel kind of dark. Cargo room with the rear seats up is appropriately sized for a compact, but max volume with them folded falls short as the E-Pace's wheelbase is 7 inches shorter than an X4's. But the rubber cargo mat and restraining straps are a nice touch. My issues with the E-Pace's ergonomics concern the new touch steering wheel buttons that never seem to work on the first push. The previous design worked much better. And Pivi Pro, the company's new infotainment system, just doesn't have the intuitive flow of solid tech. Changing the radio stations is particularly maddening if you don't already have your presets saved. So that's the E-Pace. Is it for you, or is another Jag a better fit? Or would you rather wait until 2025 for the new EVs? Check out my Jaguar test drive playlist for more reviews. For TestDriveNow.com, I'm Steve Hammis.